You may examine when you're ready, Ms. Wolford.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Adelson, at the commencement of the hearing on the motion to suppress you said your name for the record, Donna Adelson. Can you tell the court how many times prior to your arrest for the charges that are pending in this case have you been arrested for criminal offenses?
Never.
And how long were you incarcerated at the Leon County Detention Facility? Do you recall?
15 and a half months, 470 days.
And within that period of time, the 470 days, have you been held in the same location in the Leon County Detention Facility or different locations?
Different locations.
Okay, and your first location was where?
First location was in solitary confinement on a direct observation unit.
Do you know how long you were there?
50 days.
Okay. And where did you go following solitary?
To the N pod, like N is in November. It's an open pod, general population.
What does that mean, open pod, general population?
So I was with 60 some odd other inmates, all in one open area.
And you had beds in your room, I assume?
There were each sections off about 10 women. So, and there'd be a cement wall, and then there'd be another 10 women and a cement wall. So it was fairly quiet, actually, even with that many women, because we were separated in small groups, so it wasn't that loud.
Okay, and do you recall when you were taken out of the Inn like Nancy pod?
Yes, in August, they said they had maintenance to do, and that we would be moved to the Annex, which is a building outside of the jail.
Okay, and so I'm not going to be specific as to dates, but you were arrested in November of 2023 in solitary confinement for 50 days to whatever date that took you to.
January 9th.
Okay, and then from January 9th all the way through some date in August of 2024.
Correct.
You were in the Inn like Nancy pod. And then you said you were transferred to the Annex. Can you describe the conditions inside the Annex, please?
So the Annex is kind of a temporary type building. It's not a brick building. It's kind of like a temporary building, and it's and there are 66 women, all in bunk beds, all open. You're kind of one on top of the next. There's no separation at all.
So one big open room,
One
if you
big
will?
open room with 66 beds. Yes.
Okay. And how long did you stay? So from August of 2024 until when? How long did you stay in the Annex?
I was moved again on February 3rd, 2025.
Okay. Okay, and you were here when the gentleman was testifying about the call buttons to alert someone if you're having a medical emergency. Was there one of those in the N pod?
No.
Was there one in the Annex?
No.
Okay. I'd like to start the motion for a bond that we filed in this case. As the court indicated earlier, one of the issues that we have raised are medical conditions that you're facing. So I'd like to start with your medical conditions and present some testimony to the court about those, okay?
Okay.
Okay. We're not going to go over every medical condition you've had since you've been incarcerated in the jail, but I'd like to start with one that you have that's causing you some pain in your leg and back area. Okay. Let me just start with this. Can you describe to the court the kind of pain and discomfort that you're having with this particular injury or issue?
Yeah, it's I know what it is because I've had it in the past. It's sciatic pain, and I get like a pulling kind of shooting pain down my legs.
Okay. And you said you've had it in the past. You mean prior to becoming incarcerated at the Leon County Jail?
Yes.
Okay. And during the course of time before you were incarcerated at the Leon County Jail, did you seek treatment for that condition?
Yes, I did.
And what type of treatment did you obtain for that?
So I saw my orthopedist, and he gave me a steroid injection in my spine.
Okay. How long were you suffering from the sciatic condition prior to becoming incarcerated?
How long the last episode was?
Before you were incarcerated in jail, for how many years had you been suffering with the sciatic issue?
So no, I had it last about 10 years ago. I haven't had it all this time.
Okay.
But then it recurred a few months ago.
Okay. And what was the treatment that you were provided prior to your incarceration for your sciatic condition?
It was the steroid injection, and within 48 hours, it was gone. The pain was gone. It was amazing.
And where did they do the steroid injection? Where's that in your body?
In my spine.
Spine. Okay. Is that an outpatient procedure, inpatient?
Yes, outpatient.
Outpatient. Okay. All right. And during the course of time that you've been in the Leon County Jail, did you start to experience the sciatic pain again?
Yes, it did.
And what did you do when you started to experience that pain?
I wrote a sick call, and I went to see the doctor.
Okay. Where do you get these sick call forms from?
From the nurse.
Okay. And when do you have the opportunity to see a nurse with sick call forms?
Well, they come twice a day. They come in the morning and they come in the evening.
Okay. And we'll get to what those times are at a later point. But if you don't get a form from a nurse, is there another way to obtain it that you're aware of?
No, that's the only way I've ever gotten it is from a nurse.
Okay. Do you recall approximately how far into your incarceration you started having the sciatic issues again?
I didn't have it until I was in the Annex, so that was sometime over the last, I've been there 6 months. I don't remember the specific date, but I didn't have it before the Annex.
Okay. And once you started experiencing it in the Annex, did you complete a form to see medical attention?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And as a result of completing that form, did you have an opportunity to meet with someone in the medical center at the Leon County Jail?
I saw the doctor there, yes.
And what happened?
And I explained what I had, and she said, we do not treat that type of problem. We could offer you some Tylenol.
And did they provide you with Tylenol?
They did.
And has that relieved you of the pain that you suffer?
No, it's Tylenol. It's not going to do what I need to have done. No.
Okay. So sometime since you've been in the Annex, you made your request for treatment for the sciatic issue. Have you requested treatment more than once?
Yes.
Okay. And have you received any additional opportunities to meet with any of the medical staff regarding this pain?
No.
Okay. What happens when you request treatment and you don't get to see them? Do they tell you that you're not going to be allowed to see them again? What happens?
No. Usually I wait a week, and if I don't hear anything, then I'll write another one, and I'll write, this is a second request, or this is a third request. And then I think they said I think I got an answer. They sometimes just answer it and give it to the pod officer, and she'll hand out papers at night, which is the response to your requests. And on that one, they said, you're already getting pain medication for this. That was the Tylenol.
And the pain medication is just regular Tylenol?
Regular Tylenol.
Okay. At some point, did you have an opportunity to speak to someone in medical care regarding a way to resolve some of the pressure in your leg for use of a medical mattress?
Yes. While I was down with the doctor during one visit, she said, you know what might be helpful, because you're sleeping on metal and the mattress is maybe a ½ inch thick, maybe. She said what would help is if I could get a medical mattress for you. I had never heard that term before, but I said, okay, if you think it'll help, that would be great. And she left the room, she went into another room, and then she came back in and said, yeah, I thought that would be a good idea, but they don't have it here, so my best thoughts for you would be to get a second mattress, so it'll thicken it a little bit, and that might give you some relief at night.
Okay. And did you obtain a second mattress?
I did.
And this was while you were in the Annex?
Well,
How did you get the additional mattress?
so the pod officer asked one of the inmates to go where they have extra mattresses. They have piles of 20, 30 mattresses there, to go get one of the extra mattresses and put it on my bed. so that I had the extra mattress.
Okay. And during the time that you were allowed to have the additional mattress, did you get any relief?
Yes, at night, because I used to get the pains even if I was just lying down. And that definitely relieved some of the pain at night, so that was good.
Okay. And at some point, did they take the additional mattress away?
Yes, so on February 3rd, I was moved out of the Annex to protective custody in the main jail building. And since I've been there, the officer removed the second mattress.
Okay.
She said, "Why do you have this?" And I told her why. And she said, "Well, you have this."
And
So they took it away.
okay. And since the additional mattress has been taken away, have you started to experience worsened pain?
Yeah, it's worse.
Okay. And have you requested any medical treatment for that?
Well, I spoke to the doctor, I don't remember the date, shortly after it was taken away. I was down for a different reason, and she said, yeah, I thought it was a good idea, but if you can't have it, you can't have it.
Okay. All right. Now, the relief that you got when you were able to have the additional mattress, did that completely take away the pain?
No.
Okay.
No.
And do you experience this pain when you're walking, sitting? What?
So, in the beginning, I was just getting it when I was walking, so it limited the amount of walking I could do, but I get it when I'm sitting, I get it lying down, I get it all the time now. So it's not like I have it all the time. It comes and goes, but when it just comes, I could be sitting, I could be standing, it just happens.
Okay. We're going to go into more details about how it took place in a few more minutes, but for now I'd like to talk about, are there any other areas that you are experiencing any pain?
Yes, I have a problem with my left arm.
And describe to the court what that problem is, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing.
So I have like shooting pain from the top here of my shoulder down the outside of my arm into my forearm.
Okay. And you're pointing to your left arm. Is that the one you're referring to?
It's my left arm.
Okay. And so shooting pain down the arm, anything into your hands?
Yeah, the pain is like, it's like hot. It's like a burning pain, and my thumb, index, and middle finger have gotten like tingling. It almost feels like ants are crawling on them. It's like a numbness of those fingers.
Okay. And is this pain that you were experiencing prior to your incarceration at Leon County Jail?
No.
Okay. About when did this pain begin?
So I was assaulted by another inmate while I was here in the beginning of October.
October 2024?
Yes.
And when you say the Leon County Jail?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Since you began experiencing that pain, since October of 2024, have you requested medical treatment?
Yes.
And what has the response been?
They said they would take an x-ray, but in the meantime I could have Tylenol.
Okay. And you said that was in approximately October of 2024. Have you been requesting treatment for that pain since October of 2024?
Several times.
Okay.
Yes.
And you heard the testimony of the gentleman previously. At some point, did they do an x-ray on your arm?
Yes.
And when was that?
It might have been February 3rd. No, that's the day I moved. It's shortly after February 3rd. I don't know the date.
Was it after you were removed and placed in protective custody?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Is the Tylenol helped with the pain that you're experiencing?
No.
After they performed the x-ray, were you called back into the medical unit?
It was for another reason, but they did call me, and they told me that the x-ray showed no fracture.
Okay, no fracture. That's what they were looking for.
That's what they were looking for.
Did they offer any type of physical therapy for your shoulder, anything at all?
No, I asked if they could do anything for it, and they said no.
Okay.
Tylenol.
All right. Do you have any other medical conditions that you wanted us to address in the bond hearing that you're suffering from?
So I have a hearing issue.
Okay.
I have a problem. I evidently have very narrow ear canals, and so the wax builds up in my ears to the point that, I mean, I have officers that say to me, "Are you deaf, Adelson?" When I don't respond to them, it's because I don't hear them. And so I did ask for help in the, I asked the doctor if there was anything they could do for me, and I told her what's normally done, and she said, we use Debrox to soften the wax, and then you come down 3 or 4 days later, and we use a bulb syringe to remove it. And I said, that doesn't work. I need a different procedure. And she said, that's all we can do for you.
Okay. And did you know, based on your prior treatment before you came into the Leon County Jail, that it required something other than the flushing system?
Yes, I did know.
Do you recall the name of the doctor that you saw for this condition?
Yes, I've seen him for years. Dr. Molina.
Okay. And Dr. Molina, how long do you think that you saw him for this condition prior to your incarceration?
I mean, several years.
Okay.
4 years, 5 years, I don't know.
Okay, and during the course of his treatment for you, how often would you go to have the wax removed from your small ear canals?
Yeah, every 3 to 4 months. If I waited longer than that, I couldn't hear.
Okay, and did he use the method or did he do something different?
No.
What did he do?
He used some kind of, I don't know what it's called, but it's some kind of an electronic device that he puts one end in my ear, and he's able to remove the wax using that device, that medical device.
And in your experience prior to incarceration, when you were having that procedure done, did your hearing improve?
Immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, immediately.
May I approach the witness, Sean?
You may.
Mrs. Adelson, I've shown you what the defense has marked as Defense Exhibit 1 for purposes of this hearing, and it's a report from Dr. Molina, your doctor. Could you review that just to yourself for a moment? Okay. Does that describe the treatment that he was providing to you?
Yes.
Okay, and it includes a recommendation that you continue to receive the same treatment, potentially with another ENT in Tallahassee, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. This time the defense would offer Defense Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Any objections to Defense 1?
No, sir.
Defense 1 is admitted. You may. Thank you.
During the time that you have, without disclosing any of the conversations, of course, but during the course of the time that you have met with counsel at the jail, have you had difficulty hearing us while we're trying to discuss your case with us?
Yes.
And what about over the telephone? Are you experiencing difficulty hearing us in that way?
Yeah, the telephone is a problem.
Okay. Have you actually gotten in trouble by some of the guards at the jail because they've instructed you to do something and you weren't able to?
Yes.
Has that happened on more than one occasion?
It happens on several occasions.
Okay. And have you experienced over the course of your incarceration that your hearing is getting worse and worse?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. This is not a significant, I'm going to move on to something else now, and this is not a significant injury, but I did want to address this with respect to the type of medical care that you are getting at the jail. Did something happen to you recently where you cut your arm?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the court what happened, please.
So I was walking past the washing machine on my way to the restroom, and I bumped into there's like a metal bracket that holds the washing machine in place, I guess, and it was my fault. I bumped into it.
And what happened?
So I cut my arm pretty badly.
So what did you do after you cut your arm?
So timing was it's kind of interesting because the med nurse was there doing morning meds. So I got onto the bleeding wouldn't stop. It was just pouring. out. And so I figured I'll get on the line with the other girls and I'll speak to the med nurse. So I waited my turn and I got to the med nurse and she says, "Whoa, what happened to you?" And I said, "My fault. I just bumped into the machine and I cut myself." So she looked at it and she said, "Yeah, that's a problem." I said, "Yeah, can I get a Band-Aid or gauze or something, some antibiotic cream?" She said, "Yeah, I don't have any antibiotic cream and I don't have a Band-Aid." So I looked at her and I said, "Well, what should I do?" She said, "Well, why don't you use your toilet paper and put it on there?" I said, "But it's gushing. I can't put toilet paper on there." So one of the girls saw me and she said, "Oh my God." And she came running over and she opens up a sanitary napkin and she put it on there so that it was filling the sanitary napkin with blood. And so another girl came over, she took the bloodied one away and she gave me hers too. And I was applying that. I said to the nurse again, "I'm not going to be able to stop it holding this. Isn't there something you can do?" She says, "The best I could offer you would be to fill out a medical request form." So I said, "You want me to do that now?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, can I have a medical request form?" She says, "Oh, I don't have any." I said, "Well, what am I supposed to do?" And she said, "I don't know what to tell you." She's maybe the night nurse.
Okay, so this was just a couple of days before you were transferred to protective custody, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but do you recall that it was on Saturday, the 1st of February?
It was a Saturday morning, yes.
Okay, and so about what time of morning would this have been if this was the morning med nurse?
It could have been 9 or 10,
Okay.
somewhere in the morning.
Okay, and when she told you that she didn't have any sick call forms for you to request a Band-Aid and you would need to get it from the night nurse, approximately what time does the night nurse come?
So the night nurse comes anywhere from 11:30 to 2:30 in the morning.
11:30 p.m. to
PM.
to what time?
2:30 a.m.
30 a.m.
Right.
And in the meantime, you were supposed to use the feminine pads?
I called my husband. He told me to elevate my arm, to wash it, to try to wash it frequently, just to keep my arm up. And that's what I did. And one girl brought over toilet paper, but that was sticking to the wound, so that wasn't good. So I kept borrowing sanitary pads to hold it.
Okay, and at some point, did the night nurse come?
Yes, she came that night.
Okay, and what happened when she got there?
She didn't have a Band-Aid either.
Okay.
She didn't have antibiotic ointment either. And I said, "This has been going on since early this morning."
Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just turned around and noticed that some of the state's witnesses have re-entered the courtroom. We had previously invoked the rule for the bond proceeding.
All right. And for anyone who is here to testify concerning bond, please step outside the courtroom. Ms. Dugan, is any witness you're intending to call currently in the courtroom?
I don't see any. I'm calling Miss Wilson and Deputy Collins.
Please continue with your examination, Ms. Fulford.
Thank you. So the night nurse came, and the night nurse didn't have a Band-Aid either?
No antibiotic, no Band-Aid, and no the form that I was told to ask her for, the sick call form. She said, "I don't have them. We haven't had them in a while."
The night nurse?
The night nurse.
So how were you supposed to request, according to the night nurse then, how were you supposed to request assistance?
So I was actually fortunate because there was a sergeant with the night nurse. She accompanies the nurse when she comes there, and she took a look at what I looked like, and the night nurse said, "Yeah, that's a problem." And so the sergeant said, "I'm going to make sure you get a Band-Aid, and I'm going to make sure you get a form. You'll get it by tomorrow. When I go back with the night nurse, she said, I'll run some off on the machine, some copies, and I'm going to make sure that you get it."
And did she?
The next morning,
Okay.
I got it.
From the sergeant?
From the sergeant, yes.
Okay. You got the Band-Aid and the call nurse?
Yes.
Call form?
The call form.
Okay. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Yeah. Adelson, I'm showing you what the defense has marked as Defense Exhibit 2. Do you recognize what's in that photograph?
Yeah,
And what is that?
that's a few days after I got cut, and that's the clear Band-Aid that they gave me to put on top.
Okay. After you got the bandage to put on over your wound, did you get additional medical treatment for the wound?
So no, not then, about, I don't know how many days later, but when I went down to medical a few days later, they said, how long are you wearing this bandage? And I said, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, whatever it had been. And they said, this should have been cleaned and changed every day. Why didn't you have that done? I said, I don't know. This is what they gave me to put on, and that's what I did.
Okay. The photograph, does that truly and accurately depict what your injury looked like the few days after it occurred with the bandage on it?
That's what it looked like.
The defense would offer Exhibit 2 into evidence.
Any objection to Defense 2?
No, sir.
May I approach?
You may.
And at this follow-up visit, then, did they change your bandage and clean the wound?
They cleaned it, and they put antibiotic cream on it, and
Okay.
they changed it, yes.
And did you get any additional treatment for the wound?
No.
Did you request that you get a tetanus shot?
My husband said, Donna, there was if rust on that metal, which there was, he said, you should ask for a tetanus shot.
And so did you request
So
it?
I requested it, and they did give it to me.
Okay. And then, as far as your medical conditions go, the last thing I want to talk about is something that I would give 2 different descriptions of, but I'm just asking the questions. You're the one providing the information to the court in your testimony.
Okay.
So this shortness of breath or heavy breathing that you're experiencing,
Right.
how long has that been going on?
It's been going on several months, probably at least 3 months, I would think.
Okay. And did you're experiencing it then during your incarceration? Did you have it prior to being incarcerated?
No, I did not.
Okay. What have you noticed about the breathing, and how would you describe it? Shortness of breath, heavy breathing, what?
I know, I guess it sounds like heavy breathing. It's shortness of breath. I've never had that before. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I've gained more than 1/3 of my body weight here. The diet is all carbs, no protein, and when you get spaghetti with mashed potatoes, cornbread, and white bread, that's your dinner. It's very typical of what we get. And we have had no exercise at all. We're confined, especially in the Annex. The Annex, we've been confined to our beds almost all the time. Once in a while, we get a pod officer that lets us walk, so you can walk in a circle around the girls' beds. But otherwise, there's no, even if you want to get off your bed and just try to do stretches or wall push-ups or anything, she says, this is not an exercise room, there's no exercising here. We don't get taken outside.
Let me stop you. One of these issues at a time. So, with respect to the time period when you've been in the Annex, which was from August of 24 until recently February of 2025, was it your understanding you're supposed to be taken outside a certain number of times?
Well, the inmate handbook says you get a minimum of 3 hours of outside time per day, per week.